So I'd like to give you 7 tips on how to get through the AIP diet. And the first one really is to read labels. There is a lot of ingredients hidden in foods in places that you wouldn't expect it. So things like tomato sauce often have flour in as a thickener. As I say, these nut milks or coconut milks can often have thickening gums in them. So you want to avoid those ones, go for the organic, clean ones. But really get familiar with labels and make sure you build in extra time in the first few weeks of going shopping to have time to peruse them. So, and make no assumptions, that would be the other thing. One brand of dried mango, for example, is absolutely fine, and another brand will have rice flour on it. So you do have to check between brands and makes as well. The second one is to stock up on herbs and spices, because when you can't have things like tomato sauce or mayonnaise or salad cream, actually spices and herbs are really going to help to flavour your food, make them more interesting so that you are wanting to eat them effectively. The third one is to make sure you add lots of protein and collagen into your diet. So that collagen is going to help to connect and repair your intestines. So closing up the leaky gut so that we're not getting inflammation and irritating foods going into our bloodstream. And you can do this through bone broth. I like to try and drink this every day, whether I'm drinking it or using it as a soup base or in maybe a casserole or stew, or you can take it as a supplement. I like the Great Lakes gelatin, and it needs to be the green one because this dissolves in liquid, whereas the red one is for like an egg replacement. It will set like a jelly. The fourth one is to switch up your recipes. So it's very important to have a broad and varied diet, even when you're on the AIP diet, because each food has a set of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. And if you're only sticking to a very narrow set of foods, then you're only getting a narrow set of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. But also, it is a restrictive diet. And so we want to keep ourselves interested in eating, so it's important to mix it up. The other thing is that whilst I had this leaky gut, I cut out all these foods and I went to a small group of foods, and then that meant I became intolerant to them because they were constantly going into my bloodstream. So I had to, because I was very intolerant, I had a real problem with it. I had to eat the same food all day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then not touch that food for 4 days in order to prevent me becoming allergic or intolerant to new foods, which is why I couldn't eat things like chicken, broccoli, or sweet potatoes, because I relied very heavily on them in the initial weeks of AIP, and I became intolerant to them as time went on. Make life simple, so batch cook, put soups in the freezer, have a salad in the fridge. You've only got to grab a handful every time, and keep things like tinned fish, sardines, salmon, mackerel in the cupboard so that if you're short on time, you've got ready prepared food just to add with salad or vegetables. So make life simple, prepare ahead, and have things that you can eat on hand. The sixth one is to pack your diet full of probiotics. So that's the kefir, the kombucha, the sauerkraut, the kimchi, all going to populate your gut with good bacteria to restore your gut's balance and heal that leaky gut. And the seventh one, which most will be resistant to, I'm sure, is to cut out that coffee. So coffee is a problem for a number of reasons, but it does put a lot of pressure on your liver. I know a lot of people with celiac disease have a problem with instant coffee. There's something in the way that it's processed and it's made that gives them headaches, but when they switch to, good quality percolated coffee and away from that instant coffee, actually those headaches have gone. But at least in the initial weeks of AIP, you need to cut out that coffee. So chicory is a really good alternative. So, as I say, autoimmunity and autoimmune illnesses, diseases, whatever you want to call it, is actually a very broad topic. Today, I just wanted to give you a bit of awareness around it, a bit of an introduction to it, and some ideas on what you can do to start to reduce your symptoms. As I say, the Western medicine system really is not set up or designed to focus on the autoimmune element. They simply want to give you a drug to manage the part of the body that's been attacked. And that's the difference between all of the autoimmune conditions, is it's the part of the body that has been attacked. the concern is that if you have the conditions ripe for one autoimmune condition, then they are ripe for other autoimmune conditions to set in the body as well. So it's really important to focus on that autoimmune element, get rid of inflammation, get rid of triggers so that your illnesses don't progress and you can minimize your symptoms, hopefully get rid of them like I have, symptom free. Very proud of it. It's been a bit of a journey, but I got there and it was totally and utterly worth it. And just to recap on some stats that I shared at the beginning, 6 to 10 is the average number of doctors a person will visit before they get an autoimmune diagnosis. And this is because the symptoms are so broad and vague that they could relate to a number of different illnesses. 5 is the number of years it takes on average to get an official diagnosis for an autoimmune condition. 50 million is the number of Americans living with an autoimmune condition. So that's almost 1 in 6 people. That's really high. And finally, that 70%, depending on what you read, it might say 90%, but at least 70% of our immune system resides in our digestive tract. And that is why the gut health is so important for managing our symptoms and putting our illness, where possible, into remission. Thank you for watching my video. If you found that useful, why not subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to push the notification button so that you'll be alerted anytime I post a new video, so that you won't miss out on my top tips for living a happy, healthy, productive and stress-free life.